Hi, this is Wale Oluwade. We're continuing on our teaching on raising godly children. We've examined 4 keys, and now we're going to continue with the 5th key to raising godly children. Get the 2 previous videos and you can catch up with us. But the 5th key to raising godly children is a godly environment. One of the greatest influences on a child's life, formative years, is environmental forces. This is powerful, and I want you to pay critical attention. The place where you live is controlled by certain spiritual forces. You will know this by the kinds of happenings naturally in that society. Every society is superintended over by evil forces. And I've said before, and you're going to keep hearing me say every time I do teaching that I'm scriptural, that the spiritual controls what happens in the natural. In Philadelphia, immorality is pervasive. New Orleans in America, immorality, gun crimes. In Chicago, Illinois, immorality, gun crimes, especially in African American communities, is pervasive because those are these forces that dominate the spiritual realm, the atmospheric realm over those cities. In Nigeria, Abuja, for instance, grand corruption, unimaginable, humongous levels of corruption. A former president, Goodluck Jonathan, actually told the joke. He said that a former chief of naval staff, Festus Pobeni, shared a joke with him that River State, Port Harcourt, is where Nigeria's money, the crude oil money, is made. That's where the money is made. Abuja is where the money is shared, illegally shared. And Lagos, the proverbial playground of the rich and powerful, that is where the money is spent. Imagine that kind of crude, barbaric joke from the mouth of a former president. But so if you raise a child in Nigeria, imagine raising a child in the north of Nigeria, where poverty is endemic, crime is endemic, northeast, northwest, in spite of producing all kinds of leaders. Just take Nigeria as a whole. Imagine raising a child. That's why I'm not against those who take their children to Canada, to UK, or even America, some parts of America, to raise their children. Because raising a child in Africa, especially Nigeria, you've got to be spiritual. So you have to know that environmental forces shape and determine to a large extent, the kinds of children you raise. It's very, very important. Every society is governed by certain values, norms, or beliefs, often called culture or traditions. I am saddened that the society that I was born and raised isn't sane or conducive for raising even a normal child, let alone a godly one now. I was born in Ibadan, at the UCH, that is University College Hospital. That was where I was born, and I was raised there. I spent the first 10-15 years of my life in Ibadan. I went to school, and it was a godly environment. It was a sane environment. It was Ibadan used to be the capital of the intelligentsia in Yoruba land. Everybody who mattered congregated in Ibadan when I was growing up, and it was a sane environment. One of the things about growing up then, in my time, was that we all went to school and you had to study. And if you either passed or you failed. Now, if you failed, you repeated. It was strange in our time for parents to go begging principals or teachers to say, let my child repeat. Or no, it never used to happen. But what do you have now? What do you have now? In our day, if you came home with poor results, I never struggled with my academics, but I had siblings who struggled. God help you with my dad. God help you with my dad. But now, what do we have now in the society now? If you fail, parents now, in this time, parents are buying fake results for their children. Parents are paying impostors to write exams for their children. That is what parents are doing now. Why? Because of the general collapse, a total degeneration in moral values, in godly values in our society. So if you don't have godly values, if you are not a godly parent, how can you raise godly children in this society? Guess what? It's almost the norm to be deviant in Nigeria. So that those who are actually living by the straight and narrow are seen, as strange or weird. Everybody's cutting corners. Everybody's doing crooked stuff. Even in the church. I've had people tell me, well, it is, and then when I start talking about God, they say, no, please, I know God. Don't tell me about God. You're always talking about God. But what else am I going to tell you? Because of the societal values, the norms, the belief system that once held society together, that gave us the respect internationally, globally, it's all collapsed. Now it's a free for all, it's a fight for all. So environmental forces, significantly influence how you raise godly children. The sixth key is extracurricular activities. Deliberately inquire from your children what sports, games they love, and encourage them to pursue this. Allow your children to have fun through sports. Lead by examples. Show them what you do. Show them the kind of sports. Let them follow you. I used to play judo. I started playing judo at University of Benin in 1988. Then I got back to Lagos. I continued playing judo. I was doing bodybuilding. Oh, I played football all over Ibadan and Lagos. I played football everywhere. And that informs my passion for football, my passion for sports, tennis and all of that. So encourage your children to play sports, because a significant part of growing up involves extracurricular activities. And guess what? You never can tell at the end where the talent, where the calling of your children lies. The seventh key to raising godly children is peer influence. Be mindful of the company your children keeps. Why? The Bible says, do not be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits. Did you get that? Evil company corrupts good habits. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. The Bible says again, he who associates with the wise will be wise, but a companion of fools will be destroyed. Proverbs 13:20. Children who engage in deviant behaviors either imitate their parents or their friends, their classmates, their peers. So know your children's friends, especially those they associate with regularly. Examine the family where these friends come from. They may not like it. They may think you're being discriminatory. So well and good, but you're trying to protect and secure the future of your children. Children who smoke, children who do marijuana, girls who go around at 14 years, 13 years, 16 years, messing around. They copy it from someone, introduces them to it. So be mindful of the company your children keep because of peer pressure, because of peer influence. Now, the eighth key is education and professionalism. Give your children, let your children have quality education, whether they like it or not. Your children must be educated. You know why? It's not for debate. The world we live in and the future world is a world that is ruled. Those who have knowledge are going to rule this world. The world of the future, the world of the current and the future is a world ruled by knowledge. The top 20 leaders in commerce and industry are intellectual people. The Aliko Dangote is, if you know what it takes Aliko Dangote to make $1 billion, that is what Mark Zuckerberg, a 35-year-old, will make sitting down on a laptop. And he will make that money probably in 2 hours. But it will take Aliko Dangote blood, sweat, and tears to make the same amount of money, if he ever does. So the world of the future it belongs to those who have knowledge. Your children may end up playing soccer, they may end up being fashion designers or carpenters or whatever. Fine, but they must have an education, quality education. And finally, encourage them to acquire a skill or competence that is marketable or commercially viable, because at the end of the day, they must have something they can fall back on. So I will stop here on this eighth key. So in the next part in this series, we will do the remaining 2 keys. Remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Remember to share this video. Remember to click on the bell sign so you get notifications when new videos are released. And finally, also send me your comment. Drop your comments. I'd love to hear a feedback from you so we learn from one another. Stay safe and stay blessed.